Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. I'm running for mayor of Abbotsford. Our first goal is to get the RCMP in here. I've been interviewing a lot of Abbotsford residents that now want to run and are capable of helping in their city now and clean it up. What took place in Abbotsford is unbelievable. Unbelievable. An elite mob to own the city for land lifts. I stand on Father's Day as one of the proudest Abbotsford residents, and I'll elaborate in a minute of why. Abbotsford's police department, I told you, were in organized crime. I showed you that they were in organized crime. These men and women used uniform, sympathy, manipulation to hold it. The backroom players, Henry Braun, Ed Fast, and Mike DeYoung, believed that they could hold the company up. Till Henry's son, Darren Braun, opened the door. I went to the best men and women that could see right through it and knew the collaborating, the racketeering, and the threats on Abbotsford was the RCMP. I stand as an Abbotsford resident, along with many others, to say thanks to the RCMP and a happy Father's Day. Today I want to talk about a special podcast. I showed you the Abbotsford Police got to use its HR department and everything it can to pull itself out of this mess. It's on its head. These men can't afford to lose their jobs because they're mortgages. These men can't afford to have a beat down, so they beat down on the Abbotsford residents. They believe they were defending the company, and we're defending it. Smashing phones, brutalizing, and threats. Rather than kick their man off and investigate, and there was no leadership. When the army sets up, it sets up generals, colonels, and corporals and everything. These are leaders in the army to lead their men. These corporals don't know which way to go. These leaders don't know which way to go. Let's get on the press. And we'll say we're having an investigation, an internal investigation. That works all the time. Then we'll say gangs, 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 and gangs. I showed you in the months that I've took the air, when Bob Rich was here, the little rat screaming for Henry, manipulating, we're going to pressure a new building. So we'll start making a move on it. Bob used to go fentanyl, 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 fentanyl. Then Mike Serr came along. Gangs, gangs, homeless and fentanyl, gangs and homeless and fentanyl, gangs and homeless and fentanyl. Knowing what Archway Community Services was doing. Setting up to justify a big kill to clean the Abbotsford taxpayers on 71 million and not bring it to the Abbotsford taxpayers when it could have been retrofit. Then buy luxury vehicles and we're going to bend it. Henry was building himself an army within Abbotsford. The BC Conservative, John Rustad, is a very good friend of mine. He was the first man in our homes on the damage on the Abbotsford residents and the threats. Abbotsford stands proud, and they'll probably support Rustad in the next election. Conservatives are about law and order. Law and order. The Abbotsford police have to do everything without Papa Bear. Can't call a press conference. Where's Henry standing here? The great man of Abbotsford, the leaders of Abbotsford. He's not here. We distanced ourselves. That'll save our jobs. These men figured by getting rid of Mike Serr, the man that covered and cleaned Henry's hit and run, will now stay in power behind the scenes. Darren Braun showed me that. The new chief was coming in, so I was already geared up for the new chief. Mike was training him. Come on, little doggy. Come on, little doggy. Watts with his teeth. Mike was pulling him around everywhere. Darren Braun showed me. And now we're going to make a move. We're going to try to justify we're clean. Let me explain. When Abbotsford homeowners knew that Henry had Ed and Mike DeYoung behind them and were blocking the negligence of their homes and stopping City Auditorium, and you saw that through Mogel, you saw that. Nancy Friesen said, Mr. Pelican, would you like your name all over social media? I said, yeah, Nancy, it's better than my brain spattered all over the sidewalk when Henry tried to kill me. Nancy Friesen was Henry's messenger to come upstairs because there's no way you get in front of the auditorium and was blocking. This mob leader went into the city to set up millions and trillions of dollars in land. Bigger than any drug or fentanyl that Abbotsford has ever seen. It's in the trillions. I showed you with Romfunk. They need a police department. When that protest took place in Abbotsford here, Gertie Purdy, bald-headed Gertie Purdy. Him and Dave Lowen's got something in common. They're both heads shine, so when Dave Lowen stole my signs off of Blue Ridge, he got caught. And when it was called to the Abbotsford Police, we can't call him. Henry needs him in on council to get all them jobs for Ron Funk. Abbotsford City staff showed me the day ago that the Cacaro Ranch is going to move forward behind everybody's back very fastly. And they're going to have Patricia or Patty Ross, the activist, agree to cut all them trees for Ron Funk. They're going to try to develop that 400 acres. Watch this coming. Watch this. Ron Funk is in the problems. When that protest took place, and Gertz, the officer that threatened for Henry, the RCMP knew under a protest you needed court. The RCMP were adamant with me about these seniors not to put them in harm's way. Don't lock doors and exits. It was all met. You couldn't ask for a better safety plan or everything. But nobody told Abbotsford Mike Serr, oh, Mike was blindsided. He didn't know his badge couldn't hold it. Gertz made open threats to me. Then he was going to tow me and pound me, beat me down and everything. He was Henry's lackey. Everybody knew it was coming. The veteran of Abbotsford Police said, ah, shit, Henry's got Baldy coming. And he was told, they're all telling on each other, Baldy, because they knew Baldy shouldn't come. Well, when Baldy went off the course, Abbotsford residents and me moved uptown. Henry did this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain. Today I want Chief Watts, his team, his investigating team, and everybody to see, because this one's going to send shockwaves through your shorts. You'll need more pants from Walmart. I'll send you some diapers if you give me a call. Abbotsford residents went uptown. Henry Braun came out in his black Alexis car. And he came to that protest, and his goal was to end my life and use the Abbotsford Police to cover it up. There's his Alexis car. He hit and ran me, knocked me flying, gouged me all up. Everything. These are pictures from the hospital. Gouges into my legs and everything. When that call went into 911, which I received, I told you, from some officers that are better human beings than police officers, Chief. Spies, inside information going all over, and you're worried about gangs finding out. That call of 911 goes to Vancouver. 911 said, hi, Mr. Pelican, yes, you want the police, stay on scene, Abbotsford Dispatch then gets it from 911. So let me show you the streets, how it's played. Abbotsford Dispatch, 911 stays on the call because it's monitored. So the chief or the sergeant that takes it knows how to play the game. He knew he needed 911 off the phone because them calls are still taped. So he assured 911 that it was in his hands, dumping 911, but he didn't get rid of it all the way. Abbotsford Dispatch say you're hurt, it's the mayor, we're coming, we'll Abbotsford. Then the staff sergeant goes, go F yourselves. We're not coming out there, Mr. Pelican, after Henry Braun. Could you believe this? Then somebody in Abbotsford's high elite police force decides not to go after Henry Braun and wipe it clean and cover it. But the 911 call's out there. Now this is a ballsy move. This took the RCMP 5 seconds for me to have that put together for Abbotsford. 5 seconds. That the mob leader, Henry Braun, had to pay Mike Serr to cover it and clean it all, to chief of police, and not proceed with charges or anything. Because when Henry got charged, it would show all the land deals and open everything. That means this cockroach was owning the Abbotsford private police. Then the police decided, well, we're going to save the company. We're going to kick Mikey's ass out of here. We're going to bring cauliflower or beaver face, they call them. I call them cauliflowers. Watts in, and Watts is going to make it. Then they decided that Mr. Pelican and residents have too much information. We're going to boot shit them and make it look like we're defending the company. That's why we're smashing the politician's phone and his camera. I got to think of all my residents when these men rape a woman at night because they're so hot with adrenaline and they can't race the cars. How many people and victims are out there that are scared to come forward? And the lucky bounce of Henry's son opening his mouth, I went to the RCMP. I got to think there's lots of them. That's why I'm here to defend this. They got to be gone. Nobody should be scared to walk in there and have charges laid forward. No police department should be that I'm untouchable. Look at me. I'll put my little perfume on, get my little makeup on, wear my little gun, get my little handcuffs, and I'll trot into court. And Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor, I'm working for the task force. Your Honor, I'm undercover, but I'm under Henry's covers. This is what took place. Now on Father's Day, why I'm here on Father's Day. My young son knew it was impossible for me to run the sites and job sites of the construction industry I'm in. Stood up for me. He said, Dad, I'll run it. Stood up. So mortgages are paid. These scums get ripped. Their taxpayers get paid. I need my bit. Look at my bit. My young son stood up. The proudest day of my life, knowing that. And ran the site. With these shit boxes, look at me, I'm a detective. Look at me, I'm a detective. I'm a corporal detective. Look at me, I want the black car to chase out at night. Look at me. Decided that they were going to cover it for the elite mob. Charges on Henry would have opened massive investigations on Rob Funka Diverse, quantum projects, the collaborating city councils in Henry's house, and everything else. These men were running Abbotsford and controlling it, and it is clear, and it's a clear picture. The Abbotsford police have failed. So let me tell you what they did. I showed you that the HR department has to work every stupid lie and scam it is. The Abbotsford first responders, the Abbotsford secondaries, went out with Corky Neufeld. Now, Corky, I hate to be you when you get back into Victoria, to do a ride-along. I wonder, here's a man who came to our houses, knowing that the Conservatives are about law and order. I wonder if Corky Neufeld got a ride-along to the Mackenzie Bog and say, these are all the people that got deadly sick and broke bylaws, and we helped cover that up for Henry. Corky, I wonder if they went to the Versus site and say, here's the zoning that got changed and all the illegal dust, contaminated soil that was flying everywhere, and all the dump trucks, and this is what we covered so Henry and Rob Funk could change the zoning from 200 to 400. I wonder if that was taking place. I wonder if they took him over to Mission and said, here's where Ross dumped his illegal gas station, and Henry helped him so Henry could jack him in the corner and say, listen, Ross, you're going to run for mayor and you're going to be my lackey, or I'm going to call Fisheries Ocean. They'll take your dad's and everybody's assets. It's called blackjacking, right, Henry? Your son was showing me. I wonder if they took Corky Neufeld and said, now this here, I want you to have a look at this. This here is Henry's house up on Downs, where Henry had all the illegal meetings. And then I wonder if they went over to Councillor Mogel and said, Mogel, did you witness all this? I wonder if they did that. But I wonder if the NDP is going to say, Mr. Speaker, I'm glad that Corky Neufeld's the official opposition, because he rode in that cop car when them cops picked up prostitutes. And I wonder how far them Abbotsford HR have to stick their tongue up Corky's backside to get him to cross over, because Corky thought it was about PR work, and it wasn't. These guys were going to use them, and you can see it. The next call is to Bruce and then to Rianne. I wonder that's why they're official opposition, because the herpes, the AIDS, and everything in that cop car, that cop had its way down at Paviati's restaurant. And nobody investigated or talked to witnesses because they needed something to relieve themselves. I wonder if Corky, we're so happy that he's in the Conservatives and not on ours, because we'll have to touch Corky. This is what the problem is. I wonder if they showed him, the Abbotsford police took him and showed him Quantum Project's illegal site. Maybe over by King Haven and showed him Dave Sidhu's illegal piece of property. Maybe they took him and showed him this is King Haven, where we covered up the alcohol with Bob Rich so Milt Walker could get the grants with Jerry Palmer. I wonder if that was done. But I know what wasn't done, Corky. The Abbotsford police never drove by with you into that house. The man sits on the EDA of Eds and showed that house that was wrecked and damaged, and Abbotsford homeowners stood up to defend their property and values by an illegal and criminal thing that Henry was doing, and were threatened. But Corky came to our houses and knocked on their doors. Abbotsford Police were doing this. So the next call is to Bruce Bamman. We need Bruce. This is Bruce. Probably Rick Rakes is getting him in. Get the Conservatives behind us. The company's on its hands. It's almost over. Then they got to call Rianne Gasper. We know Suk Mangel will get the call. I wonder what happens when Rianne Gasper, the BC Conservatives, who says I fought for values and families, and says, listen, you shithole lackeys, you cockroachers, let me tell you. First of all, I'm a mother. I was in all them homes that were damaged. It sickened me to my stomach. I was there when all them people witnessed your task force threatening in the garbage your dad. And then Rianne tells them, now listen, when I ran for city council and Mark Warkentine was in England and he cheated, and the stuff that Gabriel was doing to Mr. Pelican, I was front and center at the sports center. When Sandy Blue and Abbotsford First, Ross Siemens' team, was so desperate to get in, any scandals, we got to work scandals. Scandals will make people back out. And said Mr. Pelican grabbed Sandy Blue on the whipper whapper. And Sandy Blue sits on the police foundation appointed by, with who? With who? Who? Erwin Braun. We need to control the whole thing, right, Chief? And say Mr. Pelican insisted that the Abbotsford Police charge. And the Abbotsford Police didn't show up. This is a lady that's going to lock down. So to Chief Watts, I wouldn't send out any invitations that way. Bruce Bamman will watch this podcast and he'll say, get out of this mess, Corky. Why didn't you ask me? You're the same as Armin. The NDP is going to make mincemeat out of you. And no, this was a bunch of losers that can't hold jobs anywhere and they got to be gone. Abbotsford residents deserve the best. We want the best. And we're going to get the best. And that's the RCMP. Now, I want to end my podcast today on Father's Day of 2025 to Chief Watts. Because Beaverface, they call you. Beaverface. I called you cauliflowers here, Beaverface. To you, your assistant chief, to your loser lackey friends that figure I'm upstairs. On Monday, I'll just pretend I'm on the computer. Maybe they're watching on the new what are them guys watch on that computer all day long? Not the Oilers. They watch that pornography. Look at me, I got a peeky. I got a peeky. Abbotsford's task force crossed the line. Them men and women got to be flushed out, who they are and whatever. This company failed to go after it. This company used its name and its position and its weight for Abbotsford residents to fight like hell because it's supposed to be tied to law enforcement. There's supposed to be sympathy with us and everything. Everybody agrees. You can bend the rules a little bit, but not this far. These were seniors. Corky Neufeld goes as far as saying that he calls these first responders. Now, Corky, I'll correct you right now. I'll correct you right now. And I'll smack you in the face for it real hard. You don't tag yourself with great first responders like the RCMP. When I was hit and ran and left for dead, they didn't show up, Corky. It's leverage moves of every sympathy these losers can count on to hold the building. Corky, the chief of Abbotsford did not even call a press conference to say thanks for the 71 million I stole. Not a thing. He didn't even bring the former chief here, but scammed him into a bloody mess. He didn't bring the big bear, Henry Braun, on the stage. I'm telling you, look at the 71 million I stole out of taxpayers. We got to fix that, Corky. We need to fix it. They're going to stick their tongues so far up each other's backside on these politicians to bail this company. We need the best. This should have never been looked away from. Nobody should have been targeted. Nobody shouldn't have been threatened. And if you want an example, Corky, you should go talk to Councillor Mogil. If you want an example, you should talk to your official party person, Rianne Gasper, and then get the examples and get the truth. This was a stupid snow job by the HR department trying to pull itself up. But I got to ask you this, Corky. Mr. Pelican, did they take you and give you a free one down at the Alino Club? This is what they were showing you. I would have been appalled to even have that opportunity to ride. You want to ride with first responders? Get in the ambulance. You want to ride with great heroes? Get in our fire department. You want to ride with real responders? Go see the RCMP. When I went there with Abbotsford residents, they didn't look away. I'm telling Abbotsford residents and every father here, nobody should fight this hard. Nobody should be blocked or threatened or anything. Criminal charges should have. These men failed, and they failed. These men are only trying to save the company, and it's a complete effort. Watts has to be removed. Watts has to be gone. His assistants got to be gone. There's no effort by Watts. Watts has failed everything. So to Chief Watts, to you, your assistant chief, your corporals, your investigators, and your man, I invite you to come to my podcast and let me explain. I'll bring Rianne there. I'll get Rianne there. I'll get Suki Mangel there. All the racist acts that took place on him, the discrimination on him. You saw no South Asians were allowed to the police force. You saw Mike DeYoung have no South Asians endorse him. You saw what they did to Councillor Mogel. I'll make sure Mogel's there. I'll bring everybody there. And we'll put you live and center, Chief, and we'll let the truth get out on social media. But wait a minute, Chief. Let me tell you what you need to do. Shh, 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 shh. We're upstairs. Shh, shh. We're upstairs. We're having secret meetings. Shh, shh. We're having investigations. Shh, shh, shh. The investigators are working hard. Shh, shh. Now get a call over to Henry. Shh, shh. Henry, is Rob Funk got that job up? Shh, shh. Henry. This is what they did. And this is what got you caught. When Abbotsford residents stood firm to have Henry Braun charged, it wasn't being charged. To Chief Watts, who blocked the 911, who claimed the 911, and who did it all? Let me make it clear to you. Let me make it clear who was the mastermind doing it for Henry Braun. His name is Mike Serr. His officers were upstairs with him. Keelan Olenoff and the Gertie Purdy's were upstairs with him. To Abbotsford residents, this is no first responders. You could see them bent over. Bruised 71 million. Then went out and bought cars. Now going to lean on every avenue and every inch there is. We must make sure that victims, that's such at the level that these cockroaches were done, they're out of here. They're out of here. We do not need an investigation no more, and who needs to stay. They need to be gone and cleaned out. And Watts failed that. Watts has failed everything. Look at if I just hide in here. Look at if we just hide, we could get some reports on it. These men are retaliating left, right, and center. Not because of the police being attacked, because of what they've done and the whole world seeing it. Not because of the building of what they did or of they offer Abbotsford a value. It's because their way of life is chopped. Henry Braun was the mastermind, the leader and the ringleader. He sits on downs, figuring that I don't go to jail if I just stay under it. He set up millions and millions and millions of dollars in real estate deals and job lifts that led to organized crime, threats, elections, and everything. And I want to make it clear to Chief Watts, Henry Braun's son opened the door. It's the same as your wife opening the door on you and saying, look it, here's my little dirty little husband. He's hiding in the corner in the closet at home. I'm live. Abbotsford, British Columbia. Corky Neufeld.